First thing that came up when I Googled you is inside the violent, misogynistic world of TikTok's new star.
The violent, misogynistic world. You know what's crazy about
That's the first thing that came up.
How many things can they throw at you, you know?
Yeah, this is the Guardian. Guardian.
It was the Guardian,
I'd love to walk into the Guardian HQ and to see all these nerds sitting, these fucking dorks, sitting there on their little computers typing away. What's amazing to me is this. Nobody seems to want to point out the fact that I am now, like you just stated, the most Googled, most famous person on the planet. Not a single female has come out and accused me of rape. Not a single female has come out and accused me of domestic violence. Not a single female has come out and said I had a negative interaction with Andrew. He was a mean person. In fact, if you were to put me up in terms of performance metrics against other people of my fame, I'm the least misogynistic man on the planet. And these fucking clowns sit here writing shit, pretending I'm somehow evil because they're slave-minded. These people work for the Matrix. They're agents of the Matrix themselves. They don't truly understand what they're doing. They are programmed completely. And this last 3 years has shown how programmed people can be. People can literally throw away their common sense, throw away their observation skills, and sit there and just absorb programming and say, Andrew is bad. Inflation is good. And they're just clowns. They're clowns. I would love to sit down with the clown who wrote that article and say, why am I bad? And if we had a podcast with that person, whoever they are, that nobody, because they're a nobody, that brokey, across an hour, I would decimate them. I would destroy them. And they know it. They'd make a fool of themselves. So they just sit there and go, and hide back in their cave to talk more shit. Clowns.
Do you think the powers that be have pushed it too far recently with lockdown, and that's why you had this rise? Or was there another reason behind? Because you've been doing social media for a long time, and the last couple of years of where you've really exploded. What's the reason behind that, in your opinion?
Power is a funny thing. And most people who have power in their lives don't understand exactly how power works. And power is a fantastic thing to wield, but there's always a line. And once you overstep that line, you have a difficult choice. So we can apply it to, let's say, a government. If you're a government, you have power. If people start to riot, you can send the riot police. That's fine. But if people continue to riot and you continue to be more and more draconian and you send the riot police to, let's say, shoot at unarmed people in a crowd, like they did in Romania in 1989, for example. Once you overstep the line with power, people no longer trust you with power. Once they don't trust you with power, you have mass rebellion and things must change. People who've been in charge of information for a very long time had the power, but it got to the point where after lying to everybody for 3 years, nobody trusts them with the power anymore. You can't decide what I get to read because I trusted you to decide what was good and bad for me and you completely ruined it. So yeah, a lot of people, anyone with a brain, anyone who doesn't work for the fucking Guardian, has clowns.
I think most people our age don't trust newspapers.
Who wrote the article? Who wrote the article? Tell me their name.
Let's name and shame this guy.
It'll take me a minute. Hold on.
So once you can't be trusted with power anymore, now what do? Right? Because nobody wants them to have power. So people are trying to seek out information in alternative ways. So yeah, there is some divine timing with my rise. Certainly. There is some divine timing with it. But yeah, also it still takes bravery to stand up and speak out because I have had genuine real world detriment for doing what I've done.
It's Shanti Das.
Shanti Das. I challenge Shanti Das to a debate. I would love
Mortal Kombat.
Yeah. I would love to sit down with Shanti Das and have a nice long conversation and absolutely destroy her so that she can sit there and make a fool of herself.
Well, I think their offices are quite close, so we could shout out from the window and get them over.
Shanti Das. Yeah, anyway. But yeah, they're not trusted with power anymore. So it's an interesting change of the guard. It's going to be interesting to see who comes into place. But there has been real world detriment to doing what I've done. They did delete me across all social medias and delete me on every app on my phone and freeze all my bank accounts and try and raise criminal charges against me for things I haven't done. And there has been real consequences.
So how did you get around them freezing your bank accounts?
Well, you don't, do you? You have to just deal with the long legal process of having 7 or 8 bank accounts and millions of pounds frozen. And they just issue AFOs and they just freeze it. So this is the thing. It all ties into how deep you go into the matrix. Is the money that you have yours? Is the house that you own yours? Is any of it yours? You piss off a government. Piss off a government and tell me what's still yours. And you'll soon learn that none of it is yours. You think you own it. That's my money. I worked for it. I paid my taxes on it, so it's mine. No, it's not.
So bearing that in mind, are you worried about what you own? Because if it's not yours, they can take it away and you are speaking out against them.
I don't own anything.
I've heard you say that a few times.
So can you explain that?
Can you enlighten that? You own nothing,
I don't own anything. I'm just some dude.
I think you have a Bugatti though, don't you?
Yeah, when you say nothing, do you mean
do you not
nothing?
own it?
Nothing.
Okay, that's good.
I don't own anything. There are cars. Let's say there's a
that you have access to.
Correct. a trust in Singapore may own a percentage of a company in Dubai, which may have access to a car that I could borrow on a social media influence contract, perhaps.
Yeah.
But I don't own anything. And that's because if you own things, they come for you. Elon Musk tweeted it the other day. Someone tweeted Elon saying, what is the countdown until they raid Elon Musk's home for releasing the truth about what the FBI is doing with the election interference? And his response was, I don't have a home. You get to a certain level of wealth where you're like, you know what? It's easier just to not have things. I don't have anything. I can rent anything I want. If I want to stay in London for the next 10 years, I can walk into the Dorchester and take the presidential suite at £20,000 a day for the next 20 years. So who cares? I don't need a house. Like, you just get beyond that point with money. So there's kind of like this middle ground. When you're broke, you own nothing, and then you start doing well and you own a bunch of stuff, and then you get to the top and you're just trying to get rid of it all. Don't want to own anything anymore.
Well, E-Man said when we interviewed him, he said he didn't want to be a billionaire. He said as soon as you get to that sort of level, they'll start controlling you and manipulating you. So do you have a similar thought pattern on that?
It's very hard to not become a billionaire in the world today, I think, if you're truly influential. I'm already a billionaire if I had to have my net worth measured.
That would have been one of my questions.
You can answer, no, I'm a billionaire. Yeah, so net worth.
What are you bringing into that? Are you bringing in your whole brand as a part of that value?
Well, yeah, net worth is subjective, right? So Forbes contacted me to put me on the billionaire list, and they wanted to know everything I owned, and I told them I don't own anything, and they like, okay, well, they want to know my income, and I said, look, I'll declare to you, I'll show you maybe 20 million a month or something, and they said, okay, but the value, obviously, then you value the companies those things come from, right? You can take some of my companies people know about, like The Real World, which was previously Hustlers University. If I have a business that is making $20 million profit a month, and it is an online educational platform, the largest one in the world, and it's a subscription model, and you put an 8 times multiplier on the profit, which most tech companies could achieve, that's an $800 million business.
But could you sell one business? Could you sell that business without you attached to it, though?
Well, that's the point. That's a good question. That's a very good question. And that's where, and I never would sell it anyway, but I know what you're saying. But then it comes into other things like branding and the brand. I'm the most Googled man on the planet. They can't ban me from algorithms. They failed. I'm the most TikTok person on the planet, the most viewed person on Instagram. Like, what's the value of that? You could give me, who makes these glasses? IKEA? This might be IKEA.
I'm not sure.
IKEA could come to me with this glass and say, sell a bunch of these. And I could sell $1 billion of these glasses. It'd take me a week. So like when I get offers, trust me, I get a lot of them. I'm not a fucking scammer like Logan Paul. I'm not a clown. But when crypto companies come to me and say, will you pump our coin? They start by offering me $50 to $65 million. They say, look, we'll give you $65 million if you'll mention this coin on a podcast. $65 million to say a name. And I don't do it because I refuse to allow my fans to get ripped off like Logan Paul does to his fans. He's a fucking scumbag.
So what is your view on that whole crypto zoo situation? Because CoffeeZilla is doing an investigation at the moment and it is quite gripping, isn't it?
The dude's a clown. He's a person who doesn't care about his fans. He just wants to make as much money as possible off the back of people who watch him. It's different with me. I genuinely want every single Tate fan, anybody who listens to what I say, to have an improved life. I want their life to be better for listening to me, whether it's in their relationship or whether it's in their physical stature or their financial capability. The idea of a 16-year-old spending their last money on a coin because I said so and them losing money would bother me at night.
And they will lose it.
And they will lose. Of course they'll lose. Crypto is, this is what most people don't even understand about the crypto market. It's player versus player. You can only sell it for $10 after buying it for $1 because someone's buying it at $10. Someone is out to lose. So you can't launch a coin and nobody loses. This is why I haven't launched a crypto. I can make $10 billion today if I launched a crypto, but I refuse to do it because people are going to lose under my name.
Yeah, and it doesn't make sense why people go into these groups and let's all hold together, but they're actually just going to fuck each other over eventually.
It's all clown world.
Yeah.
And then you get to the point where you have to realize, do I need more money or do I want to genuinely be a force for good in the world? And I don't need money. It's the last thing I need. So I'm not going to sell my soul. Logan's obviously a brokey. So he sold his soul like a punk. And now God, then he insulted God, which was great. I
didn't see that.
He robbed all his fans and then he sat there and insulted God and now God's teaching him a lesson. And maybe he's take his atheistic ass and go look in the fucking mirror and understand that there's powers in his universe he doesn't understand. And he can stop being an arrogant piece of shit and he can apologize to his fans. He could take the last money in his little brokey bank account and refund it like a man would. That's what I'd do if they were insulting me. I'd go and say, look, here's my bank balance. I have this much money. I'm giving it to charity. Guy's a fucking punk. He just wants to continue to talk on podcasts and pretend his fans are going to care about him forever. Nobody respects that man any longer from the day he attacked me. Anybody who attacks me gets fucking wrecked. True Jordy lost every sponsor, got wrecked. Logan got wrecked. I'm divinely protected. These clowns need to just not say my name. So yeah, because they're people without morals. And if you have no morality on a long enough time scale, God will teach you a lesson. They're fucking morally bankrupt individuals. They're just sitting there, anything they can to grab some money from the world, fucking their fans over.
So what is the situation with True Jordy?
Yeah, how's your best mate, True Jordy?
Yeah.
I don't know. He lost all his fans for insulting me. He tried to say something about my conversion to Islam. He insulted me and lost all of his
I think he lost his fans before
Do you know what?
that as well. Yeah.
Do you know what? You don't bring religion into things, do you? Because that is your faith. My faith is my faith.
Yeah.
that's a personal thing.
Completely.
It's just past free speech, isn't it? It's just
Yeah,
a
it's
weird
past.
thing to do. It's not about free
Yeah,
speech. It's
exactly.
Just weird.
And he was so angry at me because I pointed out some truths about him multiple times. Me and him have a long history of internet beef. He made a video about me 5 or 6 years ago. And
Were you on True News or something like that?
And he made a video about me 5 or 6 years ago, and I countered his video saying that his video was distasteful. Then a bunch of screenshots came out about him with loving his some deviant sexual acts. I highlighted that to the public, which obviously upset him. So he doesn't like me very much. And I've said to him, look, we can settle this in the cage if you want to fight about it. Look, we can go and sell a bunch of tickets and I'll beat the living shit out of you. But he's of course scared. So instead he just does these little snidey videos, and because he's upset deep in his heart, he can't control himself, and he mentions me and he said things he shouldn't have said.
What a big pay-per-view that would be. You versus True Geordie.
I think people would be very disappointed in the 6-second show, but they'd be like, I paid for this.
Would you keep it going a little bit longer or just end it straight away?
No, I would destroy it.
Not even for the fans. You wouldn't just keep it
I
going.
would destroy it. Yeah. But yeah, so that's the story.
What
behind
about
it.
if his mate was there helping him?
Oh, what, his little girlfriend? Fucking hell.
You can have both of them against you.
Right. Yeah, but you know what? It's really crazy as well, because all these podcasters and like Logan and Jordy, all this shit, I don't watch any of this shit. So they say things and it gets cut into clips, and I have a huge media team, and obviously there's a lot of people who work for me, and they go through it all and they put it together and they say, look, this is perhaps worth commenting on, or he said this, that. But I get a daily report on my social media presences and performances. And there's a daily report of how many times I'm viewed and et cetera, et cetera. And there's all the people who come for me at the bottom and mentions them. But I think a lot of it, truthfully, comes from jealousy. These people have been podcasting for a very long time, and they've been famous for a very long time. And I've just come along and smoked them. I've just come along and just destroyed them. And they're sitting there like, shit, he's the top G. I'm a fucking nobody. I thought he was canceled. Why is he still getting more views than me? He's supposed to be gone. So they hate me, and it is what it is.